Welcome to today's explainer. When you hear the name Jeep, you probably immediately picture what? Muddy trails, massive tires, someone ruggedly navigating the wilderness, right? Well, today we're diving into a pretty unexpected plot twist. We're going to look at how a legendary off-road brand completely conquered the European BSUV market with a city car. Think about that for a second. How exactly did a brand famous for building rugged, gas-guzzling 4x4s end up creating Europe's favorite electric city car? It's just a brilliant bit of irony. The makers of these massive off-roaders have perfectly executed a compact 4-meter-long urban crossover. And they haven't just built it either. They've absolutely dominated the segment with it. And honestly, the scale of this pivot is staggering. We are talking about more than 270,000 orders placed for this baby Jeep since it launched. Plus, it even took home the highly coveted European Car of the Year award back in 2023. So that's not just some modest middle-of-the-road success, That is a massive market validation for a vehicle that essentially tore up and rewrote the traditional Jeep playbook. Now, you might expect traditional Jeep loyalists to stick strictly to internal combustion engines. But get this. An incredible 60% of these sales are electrified powertrains. That tells us something really important. It shows that Jeep's customer base is shifting rapidly. The Avenger is successfully pulling traditional buyers right into the electric era while simultaneously grabbing the attention of a completely new crowd. It's expanding their driver base in totally unprecedented ways. For instance, it's attracting a significantly higher share of female buyers compared to the brand's historical averages. It's sparking this huge surge in drivers under the age of 40. And, fun fact, it has actually become one of the top-selling SUVs in all of Italy. This compact EV just perfectly appeals to a younger, more diverse urban demographic. People who want that rugged Jeep aesthetic, but really need it in a city-friendly footprint. All right, let's dive into Section 1, Under the Electric Hood. So we hear a lot of buzzwords about batteries, but what is actually powering this thing? Well, it's an NMC battery. That stands for nickel, manganese, cobalt chemistry. Depending on the production phase, it's sourced from CATL and Stellantis. And this lithium-ion chemistry is the industry standard for a very good reason. It offers incredibly robust durability and longevity for everyday use, especially when you maintain it with moderate charging and keep the temperatures controlled. It is literally the foundation of the car's reliability. Hooked right up to that battery is a 400-volt system developed by E-Motors, which is a joint venture between Stellantis and Nidec. The battery itself gives you 54 kilowatt-hours gross, or 51 usable. But what does that actually translate to when you put your foot down? It gives you a very dynamic 156 horsepower and 260 newton-meters of torque. That means a super lively, responsive drive in the city. And critically, it delivers a very impressive 248 miles, or about 400 kilometers of WLTP range. But hey, range is only half the battle, right? Charging is the other. Just picture this. You roll up to a rapid charger with your battery sitting at 20%. You step out, stretch your legs, go grab a coffee, and in under 30 minutes, boom, you're back up to 80%. If you're a busy urban driver, or say a high-mileage taxi driver who needs an opportunistic top-up between fares, that kind of speed is an absolute game changer. Moving right along to Section 2, the financial tipping point. The real tipping point for a lot of people is the running cost gap. Let's do the math. If you're charging your EV at home, you're looking at typically 3 to 8 pence per mile. Compare that directly to a petrol car, which generally runs about 16 to 20 pence per mile. When you start factoring in those daily savings over months and years, the total cost of ownership swings wildly in favor of going electric. It makes a rock-solid case for private hire fleets and daily commuters alike. And the upfront cost? That's getting highly competitive too. Over in the UK, the fully electric Avenger now drops to a starting price of £28,499 on the road. Now, that is largely thanks to it qualifying for the UK government's Ban 2 electric car grant, which knocks £1,500 off the list price. Suddenly, you can actually get the electric variant cheaper on finance than its petrol automatic equivalent. And that's before you even factor in those massive daily fuel savings we literally just talked about. Just to give you some wider European context here, let's look at Italy for a second. List prices there generally range from €39,000 to €42,400. However, with temporary promotions and local incentives, buyers can often see that price drop pretty significantly, right down to around €33,000. It really highlights how dynamic the pricing is right now and how aggressively Jeep is positioning this vehicle to make sure it's accessible across different markets. Which brings us to Section 3, Upgrades for 2026. For the 2026 model year, they are rapidly elevating the premium feel and really trying to solve those annoying daily urban frustrations. You're getting LED matrix headlights that automatically adapt to traffic, so improving your night visibility without completely dazzling everyone else on the road. They've added a 360-degree camera, which, let's be honest, is an absolute lifesaver for tight city parking. Visually, the iconic 7-slot grille now has LED backlighting. And inside the cabin, they actually listen to customer feedback, adding a padded lower dashboard and softer door panels for a much more refined feel. But what I absolutely love most about this car is that they haven't forgotten who they are. Even though it's an urban EV, it retains that classic off-road DNA. You still get a massive 210 millimeters of ground clearance. You get select terrain control and hill descent control included as standard. So sure, 99% of the time you might just be mounting a curb outside a hipster coffee shop, but if you actually needed to tackle a muddy trail, this city car has the genuine Jeep capability to pull it off. And finally, Section 4. The 85th Anniversary Edition. To really mark the occasion, Jeep is rolling out the 85th Anniversary Special Edition. Just picture this in your head. Exclusive gold finish accents on the bumpers and wheels, unique bespoke anniversary badging, a really cool bonnet decal, and inside, this very distinct tartan interior upholstery. It perfectly blends that vintage utilitarian Jeep charm with all the cutting-edge tech, like the matrix headlights and the 360 camera that we were just geeking out over. So, we arrive at our final thought for the day. With 248 miles of range, super fast charging, drastically lower daily running costs, and genuine off-road DNA packed into a perfectly city-friendly size, is it time to plug in your daily commute? The Jeep Avenger really proves that going electric absolutely doesn't mean you have to give up capability or personality. Sometimes it's just the natural next step in a brand's evolution. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer today. I really appreciate you taking the time to learn with me. Keep asking questions, keep exploring, and I will see you next time.